There's no business like show business. From actors, writers, directors, and behind-the-scenes crew, everyone loves being part of The Biz, and everybody loves those Hollywood stories. My name is Bob McCullough. I'm married to Suzanne McCullough, and between the two of us, we've got over 200 hours writing, producing, directing, or acting in some of the most classic television series and movies of all time. We've had pretty high-profile careers working with a wide range of celebrity talent and helping beginners get their start in the business, so people have always told us we should write a book. Well, we think getting our story out this way could be a lot more fun, so let's jump in.
Chicken joke! I'm Mrs. Cleaver.
From Television City in Hollywood.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller plays.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Nanu.
Baby, you're the great.
Here comes the judge.
More cowbell.
Not special.
There's anything wrong with that?
And now for something completely different.
There's no business like show business.
Hi, this is Suzanne McCullough.
And this is Bob McCullough.
Welcome to Where Hollywood Hides.
This is podcast episode number 17.
How was that, Bob?
Good.
You were so paranoid about me starting off first.
Well, I like the way you start.
So,
Welcome to the podcast.
thank you. So we are going to be, this is almost like a second parter to the podcast of Star Trek, The Next Generation.
This is like our first two-parter, right?
We saw two really good films, I thought. I hope you liked them. The first one was Rush with that really ugly, scrawny guy by the name of Chris Hemsworth. What a hunk this guy is.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie. He's not my type, but it was a good movie.
Yeah.
A lot of action.
God, it blew me away, the action, actually. I can't imagine how they mounted cameras on cars going that fast.
You know, I can't remember the last time, oh yes I could, it was when I was with you, that I almost felt like I was hyperventilating.
With me? All right.
No, I meant watching this movie. It was
a
so
good
much
movie.
action.
Yeah, it was really an intense movie.
Yes, and it was with you too.
Race car movies generally don't do that well. They aren't made that often because they're so difficult to make, but I think Ronnie Howard really set the bar high for this year's Academy Awards
I'm
coming
not
up.
sure how well Rush, that's the name of the movie, has done, to be honest with you. I don't hear too much about it.
But you know it's going to get nominated for a number of things.
But it was a great movie.
I thought the guy playing opposite Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Bruhl, was awesome.
He was great.
Because he played such a nasty little jerk.
But so many sad things happened to him. But let's not give it away.
Yeah.
People need to see it.
So,
anyway,
so
I
we're,
enjoyed
we're
it.
recommending that movie.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Even though I've
Right.
never set foot in a race car in my life.
Right.
But
You certainly felt like you were in a car there.
it's a very dangerous sport.
Yeah.
And the other movie we just saw was Dallas Buyers Club.
Not exactly an upper, but what a performance.
It was such a downer.
Well, but it was,
Great performance.
Really. I mean, Matt McConaughey, who used to be the world's sexiest man, I think.
Oh, his body was great,
Yeah, and gosh, he's just
the transformation was unbelievable.
really scary, really scary. And his character was not particularly likable through more than the first half of the movie.
No.
And then he kind of transforms himself
Right.
and
Don't
becomes a hero.
tell how it is.
Okay.
People
All
are
right.
going to see it.
No spoilers here.
But I'm very excited because towards the end of the year, because we are in a number of guilds, the writers, directors, and actors guilds, me being the actress.
Yes.
We get to see a lot of free movies. So I am really excited, and they send us free movies.
But, free doesn't make them any better when we watch them. Sometimes they're stinkers.
But it's still nice.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
still nice
it's-
because we get access to some films before they're even out.
Right.
Like right now, they're in a big rush of releasing movies over the holiday.
They want to get them in theaters for the end of the year.
And they're more fresh in the minds of the people who make these decisions.
Right.
So
Yeah, there's always a
that's fun
glut,
thing.
always a glut of movies in the holidays because they're trying to qualify for Academy Awards.
For good reason.
Yeah,
For good reason.
yeah.
So that's fun. And then we get friends calling us up and begging us to see the movie if we can send it to them. And of course, it's against the law.
Absolutely.
So we don't do anything like that, do we, Bob?
Never.
We
There's
never
a-
share our films.
There's a giant thing on the screen. The FBI is watching.
Yes,
there's serious
we don't
copyright
do that.
laws.
We don't do that.
Absolutely. Hey, before we go on, I just want to say that today's podcast is brought partly to you by Audible.com. You'll find their link on our website at wherehollywoodhides.com. And if you just click on that, you'll get a free audiobook download worth about $15. There are over 100,000 titles available. It's perfect if you have any kind of a commute. So certainly jump on our website, we're HollywoodHides.com, and grab that. At least get the free one.
Right.
I'm not saying you have to buy a whole bunch of audio downloads, but get the free one.
I love audio downloads.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And, they work on your iPhone, your Android, your Kindle, your MP3, anywhere. It's awesome.
Another really exciting thing that's coming up is the Santa Barbara International Film Festival.
Oh, boy, when is that?
January 30th to February 9th. And we're going to talk about the lineup of people that will be coming to our beautiful town and a lot of honorees. And that's a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah, it started, about 15 years ago?
No, I think it started 27 or 28 years
really?
ago.
When we first came up here.
Yes.
And it was just like 4 movies.
So hokey.
It was just a little down-home thing, and now it's this huge deal with international paparazzi. And
I remember when you were a huge deal and we moved here, and somebody said, oh, there's a little film festival in Santa Barbara, and we went, oh, how cute.
Yeah, right. We couldn't be bothered.
Right, we were so busy.
Yeah.
But now it's turned out to be a very big thing.
And now everybody who's anybody from around the world shows up.
And actually, quite a few film festivals have popped up around the country as well as the world. Hollywood is never going to die.
But I think Santa Barbara has a particular appeal because it's not in the snow. It's an easy place to get to. And let's face it, half of them live here.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah. So
I picked up an email off of our website. Well, many. We pick up many, but one particular one, it was so funny because all they wanted to talk about was, tell me how Santa Barbara, how great it is to live in Santa Barbara. They didn't want to hear about the celebrity aspect. They just wanted to hear, how great is it to live in Santa Barbara?
Well, how many hours have we spent in the last 6 months driving around with friends looking at real estate?
Oh boy, this last month has been quite a few.
Right.
Now, these are retirees, quote unquote,
from Hollywood,
who always wanted to come to Santa Barbara, but never really had the funds or the energy. And now that their kids are gone,
right,
these old baby boomers are here buying their dream houses.
Right.
It's like the opposite of
right.
what they should be doing.
We actually should do an entire episode about that sometime, because it's quite a phenomenon. How many people still from Hollywood are trying desperately to get up here? Like it's not going to go away, but they act like it is.
Well, also, it's a place that everybody, if you're in LA, have visited frequently because
Sure.
it's pretty easy to come to.
Sure.
You just love it.
Let me get back to Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay.
Where I was working very closely with Gene Roddenberry and the cast of Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes and the rest of the guys, LeVar Burton and Brent Spiner. I had been on the show for about 6 months and kind of saw the politics just in a complete downward spiral, and this power struggle between Rick Berman and Maurice Hurley, who was at that time a co-executive producer, and the kind of power vacuum left by Gene Roddenberry, who was pretty much an in-and-out burger at the office. He had a lot of doctor's appointments. I'm not sure what his real medical condition was. I know that he was a heavy drinker. That might have exacerbated things. But as nice a guy as he wasn't really around enough to run things, and he kind of abdicated control to Rick Berman, who created a lot of problems for himself, and there were some internecine battles with Michael Piller and other producers on the show at the time. My job strictly was to write scripts and rewrite scripts, and there was plenty of rewriting to be done. But in doing so, I began to realize that I was not a wonderful fit for the show, aside from the politics. Just the whole infatuation with the hardware and the high-tech schematics and things like that. I was much more interested in writing some funny stuff, some ironic stuff. And the second episode I wrote was called Samaritan Snare. And it was really
That's a cool name.
Well,
title. It's a cool title.
Right, the good Samaritan who comes to do a good deed, and the snare being something of a trap. And I loved alliterative titles. I loved kind of titles that are different.
You're a wordy kind of guy.
Without being too preachy. Yeah. So my episode was kind of like, as I said, the anti-technology episode, in which Jean-Luc Picard's spacecraft comes across almost a 911 emergency call in outer space, and they encounter another spacecraft that is, quote, in trouble. And they have either run out of gas or their batteries are dying, or I forget what the actual technology in the script was. But I just wanted to do the complete opposite of what our guys were. These people were called the Packleg. They weren't people, they were aliens, Packleds. And we cast all very, very large, obese men. We didn't want people who looked wonderful in their spacesuits and all
So
athletic
let me ask
and
you,
trim.
how does that casting call go? I mean, is it... Do you,
Send us your biggest people.
so I want to know, as an agent, you call up your most overweight clients?
That's a nice way of saying it.
And
Yes.
then,
We
what
want-
do you say, act fat?
The casting people say, we want heavyweight people. We want big and heavy people. And that's who showed up. I mean, these guys, all men, they were like 6'4" and above. Former football players, looked like to me, who had gone kind of soft. And then we even padded them. So everybody was rotund, very Humpty Dumpty-esque in appearance, as compared to the Starfleet, where everybody's trim and athletic and their uniforms fit very, very snugly. So just from a stylistic standpoint, I created a whole alien race that was completely opposite of the stars of our show. And they claimed to have had some technological failure and they needed help. And this really was their ploy, more than anything, to get things for free and take stuff over. They were basically carjackers, if you will. Moochers.
I have a few friends like that.
And so in the episode, they send Geordi over to help them fix their radios, and they kidnap him. And now they want everything on
Ransom.
Exactly. They
Wow.
held him for ransom. The interesting thing about the characters is they weren't that smart. They were clever, but not smart. And I really kind of patterned their behavior after, if you can think of the movie Rain Man and Dustin Hoffman's character of Raymond, they were extremely literal.
But Raymond came after. Rain Man
yeah,
came after.
Yeah.
But it was like that.
But I wrote them as though they were somewhat
Autistic?
almost autistic, yeah. And very literal. It's kind of like talking to a 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Everything had to make complete, very simple, direct sense. A couple of quick dialogue examples I just printed up here. They say, Commander Riker says to the Pack-led captain, "What brings you so far from home?" And the Pack-led captain says, "We look for things." Well, what are you looking for? Things we need. I mean, that basic and that literal. They say things like, "We are strong." And Geordi says, "But you're armed to the teeth." Teeth are for chewing. So they didn't.
Right.
There was no double meaning ever understood by them. They were extremely literal. And just as a personal joke, because I was kind of, I don't want to say I was being rebellious, but I guess I was getting there. When I was in grammar school,
Oh my God, we're going to hear about grammar
there
school.
There was a kid named Tom Doniger, and my name at that time was Robert Goldenberg, and we created code names for each other, and the names were our actual name but spelled backwards. So his name, Tom Doniger, became Mott Reganog, and my name, Robert Goldenberg, became Trebor Grebneglog. And
That's funny.
So I named these characters Captain Grebneglog and Captain Reganog.
That
And
is
so
funny. I never realized
I'm
that.
the only one who ever got that joke, but that's how I came up with alien names.
Those poor actors, they have to pronounce these names.
I just took grammar school jokes and made them character names. So as you can tell,
You're so creative, Bob.
no, I was trying to have fun in the midst of all the political chaos of the show. And part of the fun was writing this episode that was absolutely contrary to everything that I'd ever done before. And it kind of turned into a fairly significant episode. It's still widely regarded. If you go on the internet, people are still talking about it. It's summarized everywhere. Go to imdb.com. There's a full synopsis of the show there.
I remember you talked mostly about the convention that you went to
Oh, the
more
start?
than anything
No,
else when
well-
you were on that show for a year.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. That was a unique experience. So here I am. I'm a writer-producer on the show. And one of the guys who had written probably the seminal, most famous episode, The Trouble with Tribbles, from the original Star Trek episode 20 years prior, his name was David Gerald. And David Gerald comes into the office, and I look at him and I say, "Jerry." And he had changed his name from Jerry Friedman to David Gerald as a writer, which a lot of people do. They change their names. I changed mine, but not for the same reasons. And Jerry Friedman had been a fraternity brother of mine back at USC. So it was kind of like old home week. He walks in the office. I had no idea he'd become a television writer. And he invites me to San Diego one weekend on a Saturday to the Star Trek convention. I didn't even know there were such things. So
How come I didn't go? Did you need a ticket or something?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. And I was kind of going down there because David Gerald, Jerry Friedman, was actually speaking at the convention because he was this kind of big deal. And remember, he had a green Corvette, and we drove down to San Diego, the San Diego...
Well, that's why I didn't go. He had
two-seater
the Corvette.
car. Right,
yes.
right.
You don't need a wife
We also
along.
had babies at home, if you remember.
Right.
So walk into the San Diego Convention Center, pretty big venue, right? Mm-hmm. There must have been 5,000 people there, and every one of them was dressed like they were from another planet. I thought it was Halloween. It was the most bizarre thing you have ever seen. And there were original cast members from the original Star Trek were there.
You think this is a command performance? They were asked to come?
I think they go for the money because they sign autographs for $5 a pop, and everybody's selling T-shirts,
right.
and they get speaker fees.
Right.
It's a big money deal. It's a huge money deal. But I was blown away by the amount of commerce going on, the amount of T-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, keychains, you name it. Bells and whistles, all for sale, all with memorabilia in mind. A lot of comic books, and just a lot of real Trekkies.
So were you introduced as
just for a minute, I just raised my hand.
Producer?
Well, but I was new, and these guys were all there to see the people who had done things years prior.
Sure.
So I was kind of like the new guy. So yeah, David Gerald said, and Bob McCullough's here from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Round of applause.
Did they want to touch you?
No, no, I did not want to be touched by them.
I'm sure you didn't.
I mean, I guess today you would just say they were nerds to the extreme, but it's something that everybody's proud of, that they're Trekkies. And you'd be surprised how many adult people are genuine Trekkies, which I think is what continues to push the phenomenon forward. As you know, after Star Trek: The Next Generation was on the air, there was Star Trek Voyager, Deep Space Nine, a whole raft of feature
you
films.
were even asked to be featured and talked about in a magazine.
Right, I was interviewed in a magazine called Starlog, I believe.
Is that still around?
I don't know if the magazine's still in print, but I'll put...
Do we know what year it is?
That would have been 89 or 90.
They can look it up?
Would have been 89 or 90. And the whole episode was... the interview was really about Samaritan Snare and the pack leads and kind of the innovation of that. If I can find that, I'll put it up on our website at wherehollywoodhides.com. People can take a look at it for themselves. It was a lot of fun doing that. I still get fan mail to this day off of those 2 episodes. And
That's amazing.
And people want to know what's the inside scoop on Gene Roddenberry and that sort of stuff. And all I can tell you is he was very, very nice to me. His wife, Majel Barrett, was a frequent guest star on the show.
Like you, with your other projects.
Nepotism is everywhere, and it's not unusual. She was actually a very good actress, and
as opposed to...
No. You, I'm sure, would have done equally as well.
Thank you.
My point is, Majel Barrett, his wife, kind of, as Gene became, over the years, his health was failing, she became a producer, and then she began to kind of control the franchise from a storytelling standpoint. Really protecting his vision was
that's my plan.
Was the big deal. Is that you're going to take over for me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you're going to protect my
vision?
vision?
As you get older, yes.
Okay, that'll be great. That'll be cool. So it was a great run for me, but you asked about how they cast these guys. When I walked on the set and saw the pack leads, and they were all 6'6" and 350 pounds, they were the nicest guys in the world, happy to have the work, obviously. Of course.
How much work can there be?
Yeah, when you're that size. But they actually had to build their spaceship set a little bit bigger than normal, just so they could move around in their own personal size, and then the padding we put on them. So it was a very unusual episode. And
we'll have to view that.
I had a lot of fun.
Are you able to put a clip on there on our website?
I'll do that. I'll put some clips from that show up on the website, and people get a chance to see them for themselves.
I'm sure it's going to be a kick to see that.
And by the way, all that stuff is available on DVD now. So if you
through Amazon,
go to wherehollywoodhides.com, look for those Amazon links, click on any of those, and you can buy any number of the episodes or the complete box sets of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I'll post a special couple of items up there for you.
And then, of course, I have to ask the ultimate question. That is...
What?
Your demise.
Oh, why?
What happened?
Why I didn't stay for season 3?
Yes.
I think the fact that I was not a yes man for Rick Berman, and that I came to that show with a decade's worth of production experience. And we would sit in production meetings, and Rick Berman would, because of his status with the studio, he would have final say, of course, but he would make decisions that weren't necessarily either in the best economic interest of the show or in the best dramatic interest of the show. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but before I sold a single episode of any television show, I had already been in the production side of things for nearly a decade. So every time I sat down to write a script, I pretty well knew whether it could be shot, and if so, what it was going to cost to shoot it. And I didn't come to things with an ego standpoint. I didn't want to write stuff that didn't get shot, so I wrote stuff that was economically feasible. And I think Rick kind of resented that. He preferred to have pure writers around. There was a young guy named Tracy Torme. I believe he was the son of Mel Torme, the singer, maybe the nephew of Mel Torme. At any rate, he was a great writer, very funny guy, but he would write stuff that was really difficult to shoot, and that they'd have to go build entire sets and new planets and things like that. So he ran into a little bit of trouble with Rick because of that, and I ran into trouble with Rick because I knew as much as he did, and he didn't like that.
So how did you find out?
Well, you find out when the season comes to an end and it's time for contract renewal, and your agent says they're not going to renew your contract. It's as simple as that.
Right.
And you never have a personal conversation about it. By the time my contract had expired there, Maurice Hurley was already gone. So my insulation from the powers that be was gone. Maurice had moved on, and he was glad to have done so. Used to call me up and say, "Man, am I glad I got out of there." And he went on to do a number of other series.
So, well, thank you for sharing, Bob. That was fun to hear about all the Trekkies.
Yeah, well, it was great being back on the Paramount lot, as I said before. At that time, Paramount was, riding high on Star Trek, and it was a great show and generally really good people and a good experience. But I still can't look at Patrick Stewart doing anything ever without remembering the world's worst meeting with an actor.
Right. Well, that will go down as probably the worst one, correct?
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think, certainly, yeah. Certainly the worst one in public. I've had private conversations with actors that were very difficult.
Not like this.
Well,
not in front of everybody.
Not when they weren't on controlled substances. Patrick Stewart was Patrick Stewart was a completely sober, difficult person.
Which made it worse because there was no upside.
There was no excuse.
No.
Right.
Do you know what the name Lucille Ball means to Star Trek?
Well, are you talking about Desilu?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she was Desilu.
Yeah. She and Desi Arnaz owned the studio that the original Star Trek was produced, and they actually greenlighted that show. It was their vision that gave Gene Roddenberry his first opportunity.
That's right. I don't think too many people know that.
No, that's
another reason why I love Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
And her husband. They were very creative people.
Yeah, it's an amazing piece of trivia to think that I Love Lucy was responsible for Star Trek.
And even though it was rejected initially, they said, let's just rewrite it and go back and see if we can pitch it again. And it was quite amazing. These were two very talented people.
Yeah.
So, something else before we wrap it up that I heard that you have to find out about. I heard It's a Wonderful Life, the famous classic Christmas movie.
Jimmy Stewart.
With Jimmy Stewart is going to be remade.
Wow.
And you happen to know and is very good friends with a Mr. Jimmy Hawkins who played the little boy.
Jimmy Hawkins played Tommy Bailey.
That's right. You need to call him up and say, hey, what's
going on? Right.
How could they remake that?
Do you have a part for you, right?
Exactly. That was my next question. No, I was just curious if he had heard about it.
Yeah, are you ready to play Donna Reed's part?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Actually, I would have to play the grandmother.
Right. Well, that's something we'll get into.
And that's somebody else that we're going to be interviewing. Just want to let the audience know we are creating our lineup of actors and people behind the scenes. We're going to be interviewing them. And in the new part of next year, that's going to be our new edition. Interviews and our book, hopefully, will be out.
Don't tell them the name?
I won't.
Don't tell them the name?
I won't.
All right, but
I won't.
when it's ready, our listeners will be the first to know. So that takes care of this episode.
Oh, by the way,
Sure.
I want to tell you, your face looks so much better
Thanks.
than the last podcast.
We're talking about my skin.
It looks great. He did a good job. We're not talking plastic surgery.
I'm on the mend.
Yes, stay out of
We
the sun.
aren't talking plastic surgery, but that wouldn't hurt. Right.
Stay out of the sun.
Exactly. Wear your hat, wear your sunscreen.
That's right.
Particularly when you're here in Santa Barbara, where Hollywood hides.
Ooh, got that in.
Yeah. So I just want to remind everybody, please go to the website, wherehollywoodhides.com. Look for those headlines and celebrity notes, and check out those Amazon links where you will find awesome bargains.
Holiday shopping coming up.
Right.
Well, something else I want to talk about before we wrap things up. In my hand, I am holding a beautiful certificate that the Writers Guild
Oh, I forgot about that.
has mailed you, and you have been named in the WGA's list of 101 best TV series written for Star Trek. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It was very unexpected. It just showed up in the mail. And as it turns out, we were working on this podcast episode at the same time.
And when you think of it, only 101 written TV series. It sounds like a lot, but there are hundreds of thousands of TV series, and you have been named as one of the
I feel honored. It's a nice
best
looking,
writers
it's a great
for
looking
television.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a nice looking certificate. I wonder what inspired them to make this award. Must be some PR push on the part of the Writers Guild to recognize writers.
I have to frame this.
Well, it's nice. Yeah, it's got gold on it. I'll try to put a copy of it up on the website so people can see what you get years later sometimes.
It doesn't say which episode.
No. It just says having written on these series. So
It says congratulations.
well, anyway, thanks for reminding me about that, and so I'll share that with everybody on the website too. I'm not sure it's really that big of a deal.
Now wait a minute. Okay, now you're going to force me to read this, and it's going to embarrass you.
Oh, I'm gonna blush.
It says honoring outstanding television writing over the past 7 decades. Are you that old? And the creators, showrunners, and writers responsible for, here's the line, for some of the most memorable TV shows of all time. Bobby, you were named.
I guess so.
I wonder who else was named.
I can't deny.
Maybe some of our other friends.
I'm sure plenty of people, for sure. But anyway, it is a very nice thing, and I thank the Writers Guild of America, and I thank Gene Roddenberry for letting me be part of his vision.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Is there a check that comes with that?
That's the next thing I'm waiting for. Exactly.
I don't think so.
Where's that green envelope with the money in it?
Exactly.
All right. And before I forget, be sure to go to our website at wherehollywoodhides.com. You'll find show notes and links to all the Star Trek Next Generation stuff you can imagine, some great videos, and stuff from other podcasts as well. And next time you're on iTunes, please take a minute and post us a 5-star rating. You'd be amazed how much that helps get the word out about wherehollywoodhides.com. So once again, don't forget to check out those links. All kinds of DVDs and specials are on there at the best prices with overnight delivery. We just had something delivered, and it literally came within 36 hours. I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So this is Bob McCullough.
And Suzanne Herrera-McCullough.
Wrapping up podcast episode number 17 at Where Hollywood Hides. This episode's bumper music is provided by Chance McCullough. You'll find Chance and all of his music at chancemccullough.com. And we will see you next week.
Bye.